So, hello everyone. As we speak today, the most pressing issue is the question of farmers who are agitating on the streets in North India and in Delhi. So, it is important to understand what actually has caused them to come out and also what is the context for this kind of development. Let us try to understand the agricultural reforms that the government has started in last 2 3 months, and what is the fallout of it? What's the fallout of this agricultural reforms? So, friends, in fact, after a long time, we are talking about agricultural reforms. In fact, we do not have any major agricultural reforms after almost 2014, sorry, 2004, when we have National Commission on Farmers suggested a slew of measures. Some of them have been accepted like MSP and others. So major agricultural reforms have not taken place in the recent years, but the government, after a long hiatus, initiated the agriculture reforms. In September, we have three important bills that are related to agriculture that have been cleared, passed by the Parliament, and also the bills have been given approval by the President of India, paving them to become the acts. So let us try to critically analyze what actually is the provisions of this bill and what are the fears, what is the net outcome. This is a very important question. Agri reforms is a very important question in our UPSC mains. And of course, if some of you are writing other state services also, like UPSC, which is around the corner, it's very, very important. But I think it's a very current aspect which you need to put it in perspective. In essay paper also, a broader agri sector reforms, and you may be able to use this information. Let me share the screen so that you will get more clarity as I explain. So friends, as I was telling, there were three bills which are related to this agricultural reforms, which were cleared by Parliament in September 2020. The first one is Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill. The second one is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill. The third one is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. Of course, now though we are continuing to call them bills for the purpose of our analysis, they are now acts because the President has already given the consent. The government claims that these legislations will transform the agricultural sector and raise farmers' income. We have a promise by the center that farmers' incomes will be doubled by 2022. And of course, the government also claims that these new reforms will make farmers independent of government controlled markets and fetch them a better price for their produce. That is the context for these agriculture reforms, friends. Now let us see one by one. You have to remember what are the key provisions of these bills. Of course, I am only mentioning the key provisions. Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill, which is Act now, aims at creating an ecosystem where farmers and traders enjoy the freedom to sell and purchase from produce outside registered mandis under APMCs. So this is a very, very important step because there has always been some kind of exploitation in these agri markets, mandis. So this is one important aspect. Then second aspect of this bill is that this legislation is that it aims to promote barrier-free interstate and intrastate trade of farmers' produce so that they may get some better realization. If there are some surplus in some states and the producers, we keep hearing farmers throwing tomatoes or farmers even complaining of steep fall in prices like onions and others that might be addressed. Then to reduce marketing and transportation costs and to help farmers in getting better prices, and also electronic trading. That's also very, very important. Electronic trading will also be provided. Now, what is the opposition? Let us also see the opposition into this. Though there are some concerns I also mentioned below this. The opposition is that the states will lose the revenue as they won't be able to collect mandi fees if the farmers sell their produce outside registered markets, APMCs. Then commission agents. What will happen to commission agents? Large number of commission agents are there, but commission agents are not dependent on this. We cannot try to protect commission agents. The purpose is to protect the farmer. Then it may eventually end MSP based procurement system. That is also a very big fear. That in fact, if you see farmers who are protesting right now, the concern is that the MSP based procurement may end for a period of time. Is it something that the government is trying to bring in to avoid MSP? As you know, MSP has always attracted both positive and negative criticism, including from World Bank and other agencies, that it's a subsidy. A subsidy has to go off at one point of time. But the fear is this leading to the gradual withdrawal of MSP? There is also one more fear for the farmers as far as this bill is concerned. Then another important worry is that electronic trading like eNAM uses physical mandi structure. What will happen to eNAM if mandis are destroyed in absence of trading? That is also an important thing. But friends, let me tell you, these concerns are not too serious, though there has been worried and there is always a political angle to this. But broadly, this is what the bill, the new legislature says. Now let's go to the second one, the Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill. Okay. Now, what are the provisions in this? The provisions is that the farmers can enter into contract with agribusiness firms, processors, food processing industries, then wholesalers, exporters, or large retailers for sale of future farming produce at a pre-agreed price. Okay. Then marginal and small farmers with land less than 5 hectares to gain via aggregation and contract. Marginal and small farmers account for 86% of total farmers in India. Remember this. Then farmers will also get access to modern tech and getter inputs to reduce the cost of marketing and boost farmers' income. Farmers can engage in direct marketing by eliminating intermediaries for full price realization. Effective dispute resolution mechanism will with redress timelines. This is the thing. Now, what are the fears about the second bill, second legislature? The fears or opposition is that farmers in contract farming arrangements will be the weaker players because the negotiation power will be somewhat lesser for them. That is an issue. Then the sponsors may not like to deal with multitude of small and marginal farmers. Third one, being the big private companies, exporters, wholesalers and processors, food processors, the sponsors will have exhausted disputes. A farmer cannot really, may not be able to bargain or get his things done. So this is the opposition to the second bill or the limitations on the second bill. Coming to the third one, that is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. The main provision is to remove commodities like cereals, pulses, oil seeds, onion and potatoes from the list of essential commodities. It will do away with the imposition of stockholding limits on such items except under extraordinary circumstances. This provision will attract private sector FDI into farm sector as it will remove the fears of private investors of excessive regulatory interference in business operations. The third important provision, friends, is to bring investment from farm infrastructure like cold storages and modernizing food supply chain. This is also very much important because this is one area where a lot of investment is also required. And price stability. Both farmers and consumers will try to get price stability. Now the opposition or the limitations or criticism on this third amendment is that the price limits for extraordinary circumstances are so high that they are likely to never triggered. Then big companies will have freedom to stock commodities. Like it means they will dictate terms to farmers which may lead to less price for the cultivators. Recent decision on export ban on onions creates doubts on its implementation. Okay, so friends, broadly these are the three legislatures that aimed at agri reforms, and of course the criticism or limitation or opposition points are this. But friends, as a whole we should say that these bills aim to create a system where farmers and traders can sell and purchase products outside mandis. They also encourage intrastate and propose to reduce transportation costs. They formulate a framework on agreements that enable farmers to engage with agribusiness companies, exporters and retailers for services and sale of produce while giving the farmers access to modern technology. This is a big advantage of this. And also there could be some benefits for small and marginal farmers with less than 5 hectares of land, because the legislature also provides for removal of items such as cereals and pulses from the list of essential commodities and attacked FDA. Now why is it that then the farmers are protesting, and what are the worry? The farmers are simply apprehensive about getting MSP for their produce. Other concerns include upper hand of agribusiness and agri retailers in negotiations, thus putting farmers at a disadvantage. The benefits for small farmers from companies are likely to reduce engagement of sponsors with them. There is also a fear that the companies may dictate prices of the commodities. So friends, having said this, if we just critically analyze, we need to understand that these agricultural reforms are long pending, and positively this may lead to some kind of change in agriculture sector, in marketing, getting investment in marketing and cold storages and others. And interstate or intrastate movements of farmers produce is also a good thing. In fact, we need not worry about APMCs, because the whole purpose of ENAM is to get away from the brokers or dalaris or middlemen, commission agents, and to get a major help to farmers. And the argument that the states might lose revenue from the mandis is not much. It's not a great revenue that the states, that agricultural produce market committees will get. So the state can look forward to other ways of revenues, which if they are losing here, they might pick up somewhere, because of general buoyancy in the economy, if the agri reforms are really working. So friends, this is what are the recent agri reforms, and critically analyze recent agri reforms. This is the information. Please see to drsridharias.com for this PDF in the free access lectures. You can simply register, free registration for the free access lectures, and that you can see. And of course, those of you who have already paid and joined the Indian Economy for UPSC and groups, you can always get the mail. I will mail you this for them. This I thought we'll also leave it to public for an understanding, because the agitation is happening. Okay. Thank you, friends. Good luck. Please get back to me for any doubts.